Building and deploying Windows to Go is where we'll discuss how to put Windows on a stick and discuss the gotchas that both admins and users should know about before working with this type of Windows 10 deployment. So there are several ways to create a WTG drive after we've met the requirements discussed a minute ago. There's the Windows to Go control panel, the executable pwcreator.exe, which is actually another way of saying the same thing. And we could alternatively use PowerShell commands to prepare the disk, followed by commands using the DISM tool from the WADK to apply a Windows image. That image, by the way, can be generated from the WADK or from the MDT, as discussed earlier in this course. One tip, when your build is complete, make sure to do a safe removal of the flash drive and select the prompt that says close. Most of the time that doesn't matter, but it does in this situation. A few things that IT administrators should know about Windows to Go. First, like any version of Windows 10, it has to be activated. You can perform activation with a KMS server or with Active Directory-based activation if you have that deployed in your environment. On a domain, you can make a number of fine-tuning settings in the Group Policy console. You can enable hibernation, configure the boot behavior of the PC, and various other settings, which you can explore under the Portable Operating System heading in Group Policy. As a by the way, if you're planning to clone your WTG flash drives, you can, but you can't use BitLocker on them if you do that. So what do users need to know about Windows to Go? Well, first off, they need to know how to boot to USB devices. And that means that the GlobalMantic's IT folks might need to walk users through how to modify their system boot options. Users also need to be aware that they shouldn't remove the flash drive while the OS is in use. This would be like disconnecting their hard drive in the middle of a normal computing session. However, if they do yank the USB drive, they have 60 seconds to reinsert it before Windows shuts down. Another tidbit to share with users is that the first boot is likely to be slower than subsequent boots due to the need for Windows to install any needed plug-and-play drivers. Now, the operating system may also need to reboot after installing those drivers. So I mentioned earlier that Windows to Go users don't even see the internal hard drive, but there is a sneaky way around that. You can use the Disk Management tool, for example, from within the Computer Management console, and assign the internal hard drive a drive letter. That tip works in reverse too. You can boot to the hard drive and peek inside the Windows to Go drive structure by mounting it in Disk Manager. You can also use the command line diskpart tool for this purpose. Okay, well, let's see how to go about creating a Windows to Go flash drive. Well, here we are on a Windows 10 Enterprise laptop, and I've fired up the control panel, and here's Windows to Go at the bottom. We'll open that up, and it has detected the Kingston Windows to Go compatible flash drive that I already have installed in a USB port. And now it wants to know where to find an image to install on this drive. I actually have a contractor image that is in the desktop. And now it found it, Windows 10 Enterprise. You can choose whether you want to set a BitLocker password. Again, if you do this, this flash drive will not be something that you could clone in a USB duplicator. We'll go ahead and turn this on. And now it's ready to go. I'm cautioned by Microsoft that this might take a while, and that the USB drive is going to be formatted and anything on it is history after I click Create. And after about 15 minutes, Windows to Go is done. And it's giving me the choice now whether I want to automatically boot to it. And if I say no, then I'm going to have to know how to jump into the BIOS and change the boot priority settings for this machine. Now to show you the little trick about how to make a Windows to Go drive accessible. So if I click this PC, You'll notice that I see my C drive and my D drive, my DVD drive, but I don't see the flash drive. I can choose the computer management console and the disk management tool inside of it. And here's disk 1, and here is the BitLocker encrypted unassigned partition. I can right-click that, change the drive letter, add, let's call it M, and now it's accessible. There's local disk M. Now it's BitLocker protected, so I have to unlock the drive with its password. Now it's unlocked, and I can open it and see its structure, and not surprisingly, it looks a lot like a typical Windows 10 boot DVD.